Hi to everyone that's watching and welcome to this week's video. Today I'm going to teach you guys how to make an at-home skincare mask with just things that normally everybody has in their kitchen. So this is what it looks like. This is one that I made last week. It looks really gross, I know. But it's very like jelly and thick like oatmeal. I should have brought a napkin to wipe this off. So I've made this mask a couple of times already, and both times I made them different. The first time I made it raw without cooking the oatmeal after making the mixture, and the second time I did cook the oatmeal. The differences that I noticed was that when you cook the oatmeal mask and then you let it cool and put it in the fridge, it does last longer without getting bad. I honestly like both ways of doing the mask and how they both leave my skin, but I like the way that the raw oats leaves my skin just a little bit better. Before we get into this video, I just wanted to mention, if you've been liking the content on my channel and you are interested in this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe on your way out or on your way in or whenever. Subscribe button is right there at the bottom, so don't forget to click it. Alright, so I'm gonna stop babbling so we can just go straight into the video. Alright guys, we have made it over to my kitchen now. This is just a quick overview of the things you're going to need for the mask, not the coffee. The main ingredient is oatmeal. I don't use quick oats or anything like that. I use just regular whole grain oats. As my grandmother likes to say, el señor Quaker. So that's what we're going to be using today. You're going to need a bowl to mix everything together, and you're going to need a cup in order to put Mr. Tim here. He is a tea, I forgot what these things are actually called. A tea, well, you put the tea in here and then you put it in the cup, and you know, that's how the story goes. Anyway, the first step is to boil the water, which I already have going on over here, and you're gonna fill Mr. Tim, if you have a Tim, or if you have, you know, one of these guys. I usually use green tea, but I found this in my cabinet because I actually had run out of green tea. I don't know where my mom got this. I think she got it in California, maybe when she went on a trip with my sister. But it has chamomile, rose petals, and lavender, so I know that those ingredients are all calming, so I was like, why not, let me use this one this time. You're gonna need some rosehip oil, and the vitamin E oil is optional, but I throw it in there just because vitamin E oil is really good for your skin. It also helps with scarring along with rosehip oil. So we're gonna have this water boiling right now, and I'm going to go ahead and get Tim ready to put into our mug, and then once the water is done boiling, you're gonna go ahead and pour it in here and let it sit for about 5 to 10 minutes. Alright, so now I have Tim filled up with tea. We're going to go ahead and put him in the mug. And the water seems to be boiling already, so I'm going to go ahead and turn off the heat. Bring this over and pour it into my mug. I try not to make a mess, but you know. The tea sit in the mug for about 5 to 10 minutes. The water's really hot, so I'm gonna leave it for about 10 minutes. And then after that, we're going to go ahead and add the oats, the oils, and everything mixed up in a bowl. And then we'll move on to the blender. Alright, so it's been about 10 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and remove Tim. Just let him drain a little bit. Alright, now we're going to transfer the tea into the bowl. And, you know, just make a mess. It's alright if a few of the tea fragments kind of get left behind. That's perfectly fine. We're going to blend it anyway. Alright, and I'm going to be completely honest with you. I do not have an exact measurement for the amount of oats that go in here. I honestly just kind of wing it. I think that should be enough. You want enough so that the oats can absorb the water when you go and reblend it. So I think that should be about enough. I'll probably get one more scoop. Alright. So now that we have that mixed together, I'm going to go ahead and add the rosehip oil. So for the rosehip oil, I usually will add 2 full droplets, 2 full little container squeezy things of these guys. And then with the vitamin E oil, I don't really have a measurement. I just kind of do that and then mix it all together. I'm going to let that sit for a little bit just because it's still too hot to put in my blender. Alright, I saved you guys the pain of watching me make a mess while trying to hold the camera and fill the blender with the mixture. So I went ahead and just filled it up, you know, basic stuff, and everybody knows how to use a blender, so I'm not going to really elaborate on this, and blend. So your mixture is going to look pretty liquidy at first, and that's normal because we used a decent amount of water and it was warm. As you let it sit, it's going to thicken up a little bit, so what I'm going to do now is transfer it to the container that I'm going to keep it in. So I like to keep it in a glass container just because I'll put it in the fridge or the freezer. So I'm going to go ahead and let this sit so it can cool down a little bit more because it's still kind of warm. So you can already see it's like pretty goopy, and as it continues to cool down, it'll thicken up even more. So I'm going to let that sit for a little bit, cover it up, and then go ahead and pop it in the freezer because I do have a mask already in the fridge, which I'm going to show you guys right now, and we're going to do a little demo of putting it on and just explain to you the benefits of everything that we just put together in here. So now that you guys saw how I make the mask, I'm going to go ahead and talk about the different ingredients that I did use in the mask so I can explain to you the benefits and why I chose these specific ones. The first one, which is the main one, is oatmeal. The reason why I chose oatmeal for the base of my mask is because it's very, very soothing. It thickens up really easily. It's really, really great for dry skin and for irritated skin. I remember when I was a kid and I had chicken pox, my grandma would make oatmeal baths for me. Like, she would literally fill the tub with really hot water, dump a bunch of oatmeal in there, and kind of just wait for it to be warm enough for me to get in it, and then I'd sit in the oatmeal, and it always made me feel way, way better. The next thing I want to talk about is rosehip oil. The reason why I like rosehip oil so much is because it helps a lot with scarring and it calms down my skin tremendously. I've mentioned before that if I usually put rosehip oil on my face right before I go to sleep. When I wake up, my face looks amazingly calm. Like I said, it helps with scarring, it is moisturizing, and I just really like that it's just one thing. It's just an oil and that's it, and I've never had a problem with it. The next thing I want to talk about is the vitamin E oil. This is kind of optional. I had it sitting in my cabinet, so I decided to put a little bit in it the other day when I made my mask. So vitamin E oil, I don't know if you guys have ever noticed when you're like shopping for body lotions, like a bunch of them are like, oh, vitamin E, vitamin E, vitamin E, like everywhere. That's because vitamin E is really, really great for the skin. It's very essential for the skin. It helps to keep your skin moisturized, and it can also help with very severe dryness. I don't usually use this. My sister uses vitamin E a lot. That's why it was in the cabinet. I was just kind of like, it helps to make the mask more moisturizing, so that's another reason why I wanted to use it. This right here is probably the second most important ingredient after the oatmeal or the rosehip. I don't know which one to choose. They're all important. So I use tea water for the oatmeal to sit in and to thicken. The times before when I made this mask, I did use green tea. Green tea has a lot of anti-inflammatory properties, and it's just really all around great for inside and out of your body. But I didn't have any more green tea laying around, so I decided to go with this one because I read the ingredients and it did have chamomile, or chamomile, however you guys say it. I think I say chamomile. Did I say chamomile or chamomile? So it has chamomile, it has rose petals, and it has a little bit of lavender. And all of those ingredients are great, and they are calming as well. As I mentioned in the intro, there's two different ways to do the mask. The preparation is the same. The only thing that is different is at the end. You can choose to cook the mixture, or you can choose to leave it raw. I mentioned that I actually like the way it worked on my skin better when I left the mixture raw, but it does get bad way quicker. So this one that I have right here in front of me, I did cook, just because when I did it, it came out way too liquidy. So I wanted to cook it a little bit in order to thicken the starch, and obviously it did work, because it was just way too liquidy before, and the mask just wasn't a mask. It was kind of just like liquid oatmeal. The other one that I just made, I'm going to keep in the freezer for a bit just because I already have this one, and this is safe to use every day. I usually do use it every day. I usually leave it on till it gets like all dry and crackly, and that's when I rinse it off with cold water. I do not rinse my face with warm water. If you're watching this and you have sensitive skin or you have rosacea, do not rinse this off with hot water or warm water. It's going to irritate your skin, and it's going to like totally reverse the whole purpose of this mask. It is, like I said, it is safe to use every day, and it's very calming, and it's extremely moisturizing. After you rinse it off, your face feels awesome. I'm going to go ahead and put the mask on my face for you guys. I don't know if it makes a difference if I do it or not, but let's go for it. This is freezing, by the way, like very, very cold. So I suggest when you first take it out of the fridge, you kind of just let it sit for 5 minutes so it's cold, but it's not like that cold that makes your eyes water when you put it on your face. I don't know if any of you have ever used a cold face mask like the ones that they sell at Lush that you get from the little fridge. When you put those on right after they come out of the fridge, oh my gosh, it's so cold that it makes your eyes water. It's terrible. Oh, it's gonna be cold. I really don't know if this is even helpful. It's for you guys to see me putting this on. Maybe I'm just like torturing myself on camera. Ah, it does feel really nice though. Like when your face is really red, like if you suffer from rosacea or like really red patches of skin or anything like that, this feels really, really nice going on. Because sometimes it does get so red and irritated that my face feels hot. And I found that putting the mask on cold really, really helps. And it makes my skin feel a lot better. If you're going to use the mask like once or twice a week, I suggest keeping it in the freezer. And if you know that you're going to use it, take it out right before you're going to shower. Let it defrost pretty much, and then put it on right when you get out if you're only going to use it once to twice a week. But it is, like I said, it is safe to use every single day. So I really didn't think this through. I didn't realize that I was going to have to do my outro. I don't know if that's what it's called. Intro, outro. I didn't realize that I had to do the end of my video totally masked up. I really hope that you guys enjoyed my video. If you did, go ahead and subscribe. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you next week. Take care.